Welcome to Contracting Conversations. My name is Scott Williams and joined by my co-host Jim Valley. Today we are continuing our conversation with Christy Watts, DAU's Learning Asset Manager for the A&E Contracting course. Welcome back, Christy.
Hey, thanks, Scott and Jim, for having me back.
Hey, Christy, what can you tell us about the CON 2430V, the A&E Contracting course?
Well, Scott, this is a VILT course, and it focuses on contracting for AE. It covers across the contracting spectrum, and it includes acquisition planning, source selection, proposal analysis, contract award, and contract management. There's specific topics and practical exercises that allow the professional to gain knowledge of the selection of AE statute, SF 330s, the slate and selection process, the review of contractor overhead rates and government estimates, the liability issues, the AE construction phase services, modifications to contracts, and the contracting officer's technical representatives, their responsibilities too.
Wow, Christy, sounds like a pretty great course with a lot of good aspects in there for A&E contracting. Can you tell us a little bit more about how that class is formatted?
Sure can, Scott. So the format for this class starts with a pre-course assignment, which gets students thinking about key issues in AE. We then meet for 4 days in the virtual classroom, where we combine instructor-led time, which leads to daily group activities that reinforce what the students just learned. There's also self-paced lessons with questions to help ensure the students are receiving the material that we want them to. You will also have an opportunity to hear from a few contractors about their perspective on what it's like to work with the government. This is definitely an updated version of the former CON 243 in a new format.
All right, thanks, Christy. It's always great to hear about the group work because I think it's so important to learn how do I work with a team, right? The government team is so important to be cohesive. Also understand that the contractors are part of your team, and how are they thinking, right? And we need to avoid doing things that make it very difficult for them to work with the government.
That is so true, Jim.
Yeah, so I'm glad you're doing that. So what type of students are the expected target audience for this course?
Well, an AE contract is definitely a team effort. So from initiation of the requirement to award and then administration, no one functional area can complete an AE effort on their own. There is an acquisition workforce member in the AE functional area. Therefore, any acquisition workforce member in the AE contracting functional area or assign specific contract administration duties for AE contracts would be an ideal target for CON 2430. This would include an engineer involved in the AE selection process, as well as the contract specialist. Whenever practical, professionals should try to attend this course prior to assuming their duties related to the AE contracting, or maybe very shortly after commencing them.
All right, that sounds great, Christy. There's a lot of useful information in this course. How are the students assessed in CON 2430?
Well, Jim, the first assessment starts with a pre-course assignment that is submitted 1 week before class starts. In-class assessments are a combination of those group assessments we talked about earlier. And then there's an individual assessment from that self-paced assignment. There's no exam for CON 2430. The only exam is at that credential level.
All right, thank you.
Hey, Christy, you mentioned earlier the older version of the course, which is CON 243. How similar is CON 2430V to the previous version of the course? And can you also address the question of equivalencies?
I sure can, Scott. So we cover many of the same topics in CON 2430 that we did in the two previous versions, CON 243 and CON 243V. But in the new course, we've removed both the exam and the lesson on AE overhead rates. That's covered in the course CON 2420. So the course has added a few items, and some items are offered in that self-paced format. Overall, the new course provides the student with a very similar experience. As for equivalency, DAU is not offering equivalency for any predecessor course for credentials. However, you can submit a request for equivalency of CON 2430V for a predecessor course through your DACM.
All right, thanks, Christy. I think a lot of people, they don't understand that predecessor course process and that the DACM is the ones that can do that. So that's good for people to know. So we appreciate you coming to the show today, discuss the A&E contracting course, a key component of the architecture engineering credential. So thank you.
Well, thanks for having me, and I've really enjoyed my time with both of you.
Well, this is part 3, right? So we've done quite a few of these, and we really appreciate getting this information out to the folks out there that really could use it in the A&E and construction area. As we discussed, CON 2430V is one of the 2 virtual courses in the credential, the other being CON 2420V. If you have not heard our conversation with Christy on that course, please listen to our CON 2420V discussion, as well as our conversation with her on the overall A&E credential, CCON 012. This is all the time we have for today. But please, if you haven't already, as we've mentioned many times, if you could help us, subscribe to our Contracting Conversations channel. Again, type any comments below because we're going to start answering your questions in future discussions, and spread the word of this channel to your peers and those you supervise or lead. Let us help you answer their questions, and we really look forward to having future contracting conversations with you.